Can we start?
What? Are we ready?
We're ready.
Okay. Hello, and welcome to another conversation with Glenn, Tiffany Siegel, Dan Andros, along with the one and only Glenn Beck.
Yay!
Yay!
Back from his travel.
Yeah. So, interesting week. What was that? Oh, you're good.
Because he was away for 2 weeks.
Yes.
Oof, oof.
You're back.
Yeah.
And
In
it's
Texas, good. Amen. Amen.
It's like negative 12 there, and we've
Yeah, I
got
know.
70 today. So
It's
that's
also New York,
fantastic.
and my next trip, I guess, is in San Francisco. Can I go someplace likable?
Right. Like, can we go to Lincoln, Nebraska? Can we go
Oh,
somewhere?
that's cold.
Well,
Other than Texas, you're kind of out of
I'm
options.
out of options. I'm out of options.
so it's been an interesting week of programming here at TheBlaze. We just, you've talked a lot about the direction we want to go, and just want to get your thoughts on. This week was had a little bit of a different feel. We had a lot of these, guests that I think and shows that I think that you're trying to dial into. Martin Pistorius.
Amazing.
Great story. Larry Kudlow.
Amazing.
You also did a couple of interviews that the audience hasn't seen yet, but Jim Doty, who I think they'll really like, and then this
An atheist.
An atheist.
An atheist who is good friends with Pope Francis and the Dalai Lama, and also some of my Jewish friends and some of my Baptist friends. I mean, this guy is amazing because he's all about compassion.
And you also had an interview that, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but to me I think may have had the biggest influence on you out of all of them. We had a
I
Korean
might have been drunk.
pastor in, and America will love this when we debut this interview, but he saves babies with Down syndrome because in his country they're considered defective and the mothers just drop them in mailboxes, and he spends his life saving them.
And
you told him that you might be interested in bringing one of these babies home and adopting it.
You of course consulted Tanya before you said that, right?
No, he
No.
forgot that part.
Forgot that part.
And
no, I didn't. I just said that I was, and so Tanya, we're driving in the car after the interview, and I said, oh, so I have to tell you about this miracle guy that I met. He's really amazing. And she was like, oh, wow, that's really great. And I said, and I had kind of the same feeling that I had, when we adopted Ray. Look, I'm a guy that wanted one child. I have 4. I wanted
you really only
one.
wanted one?
One. Huh. One. And I have 4. And so I'm driving with Tanya, and I'm like, I don't know. I just feel like maybe we should adopt one of these babies. And she's like, and she just looked at me. She's like, I'm good with that. I'm in.
Wow.
And I said,
Wow.
no. You should talk to me a little bit more about this. We should dismiss this idea. And she's like, was it just a passing thought, or do you feel like it might have come from, God? And I said, let's not concentrate on that. Ugh.
So she's all in on this.
She's all in on this, but I don't know if I can. I don't know. 5.
The guy also spoke through a
What am I-
translator.
What am I, like an 1800s farmer
I
or
know.
something? Nobody has 5 children.
But
Or a Mormon.
Well.
True. Understand that the pastor spoke through a translator. So when it was translated back to him, his face by the time lit up, and you could tell how
So now you can't let
excited
him
he
down.
was.
You can't let him down now.
Oh, yes, I can. He lives in he's a foreigner.
So out of all this stuff this week and these kind of people, is there something that you got out of it? Is there a reason you're going this direction? What is it inside you that makes you
I
have these
said on an
conversations?
episode, and I don't think I've seen. Have you guys seen anything on Facebook or anybody saying anything about the dream that I had?
I saw a couple of comments, but nothing negative.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was a significant dream, and in fact, it was so significant that I took the day off when I was in New York. It's the day that I took off up in New York, and because I woke up and I had this dream, and it deeply, deeply bothered me and affected me, and I talked about it on one of the episodes this week. And I think what it means is we've been threshing, we've been plowing, we've been turning up all the soil and threshing, and it's time to stop. It's time to stop. And I think if we don't stop voluntarily, he's going to stop us. It's time to stop. And it's time to plant seeds. And one of the things that I've been saying on the air this week, because President Obama, gave that speech at the prayer breakfast and was telling us, who Christians were and everything. Stop it. I'm not listening to any of that anymore. I'm tired of hearing who he and anybody else thinks we are. I know who we are. We don't know who we are anymore. We're amazing people. We are more than a group of people. We're more than a country. We're certainly more than a flag and fireworks and the Star-Spangled Banner. We are an idea. We're an idea that man can be better than the slime that he crawled out of. That man can, left to his own devices, be good, not be an animal. And that's the idea of America. And nobody's even talking about that anymore. And so if we lose that, we become just like everybody else. And it's not like we're greater or anything else. We are the home of that idea. That was the first, when I heard Chris, what's his name? Cuomo on CNN this week say, your rights don't come from God. This guy has no clue as to what makes us different. That is the fastest road to slavery. Saying that your rights don't come from God, you are on the road to slavery. Because if man gives you your rights, man can decide, I'm going to take those rights away. And that was the idea behind America. That you are created unique and different and special just as much as your fingerprints are. We are all unique. And we all have a unique opportunity. And we're not going to have equal outcomes, but we have an equal chance. Judge me by the content of my character. And I'm tired of hearing people say that we're not good. I can't wait until we do this story in Texas from the Home Depot. Are we doing that next week? We are?
We're doing it as we speak, yes.
Okay, good. Can I talk about it a little bit?
Sure.
Okay, so we found out because of somebody in the makeup room, one of their neighbors is fighting cancer. Horrible, horrible, horrible cancer. Stage 4, horrible. Can't walk, just is horrible. So the husband was going to build a ramp up for his wife. Do you know the story yet, Dan?
No, I haven't heard it.
We're gonna build a ramp. Goes to Home Depot and he says, hey, look, here's pictures of my house. I need to build this ramp, blah, blah, blah. The guy at Home Depot said, what are you building it for? And he said, my wife has cancer and she can't walk. He said, don't worry about it. We'll take care of it. That day, the volunteers at Home Depot came with the wood, with the nails, with everything, and built the ramp and didn't charge anything. Didn't ask for anything. Nobody knew. They didn't send out a press release and go, look what Home Depot's doing. We found out about it because it's a neighbor of one of the people that work in the makeup room. That's who we are. That's who we are. And I'm tired of people telling us that we're not those people. We are those people. And we have to start showing people that's who we are. And then choose. Then choose. What do you want to be? We were talking before we went on the podcast today. Who we were and who we are. That's all we should be talking about. I don't care about politics anymore. I don't care about anything. Who we were. How did we get here? What's the history? What's the true history? Who are the heroes of history? I'm reading this great book you should read on Winston Churchill. Great, beautifully written. What an amazing guy. Choose. Is that who you're going to be? Because that's who I want to be. Choose. Who were we and who are we? We're the guy in Detroit that was just walking to work for the last 10 years, not bitching and complaining, not looking for a handout, walking to work 21 miles every day. Are you kidding me? Now that's what my parents would have done. That's what my grandparents would have done. That's what I was raised to do. But nobody does that. Everybody would say, you live off the government. No, he went to work every day. We're so starving for people that just have decency and just decent values, GoFundMe went and raised, what was it?
$500,000.
$350,000.
$500,000.
Ford gave him a brand new car. He's not special. He's just doing what we all know is right.
We started.
One more thing. The
Yeah.
righteous among the
Nations.
Were you with me when we went
I was
to
not
Auschwitz?
in Auschwitz with you.
So we met this woman named Paulina. Remember Paulina?
Very well.
Okay. One of the righteous among the nations. And do you remember what she told me? Because this is going to be critical in the coming months and the next probably 24 to 48 months. So critical. Do you remember what she told me about the righteous of the nations? She didn't even want to be photographed. We only have a recording of her. She would not allow the videotape to be taken. She didn't want to be a star. She's like, it's not that, no. But she allowed us to record her voice for history. She saved hundreds of children. And she was a teenager at the time herself. And I said, Paulina, how do we plant this seed? How do we water the righteousness in people? And she said, you just have to remember, the righteous among the nations were not better. They just didn't go over the cliff with everyone else. Everybody's going off the cliff. Just don't. Just don't.
And if you don't think we are there, look, the first thing I thought when I saw that guy that walked to work, how long did he do that?
10 years.
10 years. 10 years, and no one did anything for this guy? Like, to me, it shows our own apathy where we, like, how do you not notice that? Yeah.
It took the banker to finally see him walking every day in every element, going, who is this guy who stopped and said, but remember, a rich man, a banker, all bankers are bad. A banker stopped and said, hey, you want to ride? And they struck up a friendship and took him to work every day.
Yeah, and how many days, and probably even him, he probably went by so many days thinking to do exactly what he just did,
Right,
but then just didn't do it. And we all do that.
Yeah.
So
We started the week with the imams here, and it was a really tough conversation. I'm wondering, is this the best antidote for that, what we're talking about now? Pushing out these stories and just being who we are, is that the way to stop what they're doing from infiltrating our lives?
No, that's part of it. You also have to stand against that. You have to stand against evil. And evil is here. I don't care what the president or his allies or even the GOP says. Call it by its name. Islam, as it is practiced by 70% of those in the Middle East and 10% of those around the world, 5 to 10% around the world, is evil. Period. No more explanation. Evil. Now, what are we going to do about it? First thing, declare what it is. Bright line around evil. You don't go there. If you want to behead people, you're evil. You don't want to behead people? You don't want to kill people for leaving the religion? You don't believe in honor killings? I'm cool with you. I'm totally cool with you. You can believe whatever you want. Bright line around those who say honor killings. Bright line.
yeah, I think that's what a lot of these, because you can send, you talked about it with the ABC story on radio this week. The people are starting to kind of show these good stories, but it's not tethered to anything. Like we don't want, you can't just show people fluffy, happy stories and then deny the reality that evil exists. Like that's what I think a lot of people are trying to do, and it's going to mean nothing in the end if you just ignore. You can't ignore the bad.
Look, if you're smart enough, the world is all about metadata now. It's all about metadata. And so just the amount of metadata, which is very small, that we see at TheBlaze, we know who people are. We know what they're looking for. And you're either looking for 50 Shades of Gray, or you're looking for, destruction, or you're searching, truly searching for something with meaning. And what the news business does is they give you a little bit of this, and then they just touch on that. They don't understand the meaning, the search for meaning. They don't even understand that. So they just give you a happy puppy dog story. Oh, look at the puppy dog, and the puppy dog licking the face of the child, and isn't that cute? No, the little puppy dog story works because we need aloe on our soul from all of this. the stories of who we are deep down, those are the stories. You know, we did a really controversial interview on radio today. On Friday afternoon, last half hour, had a guy from San Francisco on, and Pat and Stu were like out of their mind. They were just, I shut off the mic, and they're like, okay, that guy can't come on again. I'm like, that's exactly the kind of guy that we need to have on. Like, the audience hated that guy. I can guarantee you they hated him. He was a socialist. He was asking for minimum wage and blah, blah, blah. I got it. But that's not what he was saying. If you can look past the labels and you can listen, what he was saying was, the world is going to change so much in the next 10 years. You will not, if you think you don't recognize it now, watch the next 10 years. You will not even begin to understand. We are going to a place of 50% unemployment. Think of that. 50% unemployment globally and in the United States. What does that mean? That means revolution. Unless you prepare now, unless we start to find new ways to live with each other, interact with each other, help each other. So while his idea was, let's abolish all government programs and just write a check for $1,000 to every American. So you get $1,000 every month, okay? That's your minimum wage. So you can have a house and everything else, just $1,000 every month. That to me doesn't work because it's labor that makes people give them some meaning. It's not money, it's labor that gives meaning to your day. You have to have a reason to exist. But the reason why that guy was important to talk to is because I don't think anybody in our audience is really thinking 50% unemployment. What does that mean? And so the socialists and the progressives, they are looking over the horizon and they are saying, look what's ahead of us. What's ahead of us? They do know that, what's ahead of us. That's a way to have socialism and big government trappings and everything else. So they're making that case. We're saying, no, 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 no. Instead of saying, that's the reality of the future, what principles do we have that solve those things? Gotta have that conversation.
See you next time when Glenn has another 14 adopted kids.